everyone. Welcome back to Sharpen. Today's episode is a bit different, but I'm especially excited about it. My guest isn't a CEO in the traditional sense. She's a 23-year-old content creator with a powerful presence on TikTok, millions of views, a devoted audience, and real traction in what's now called the creator economy. Emily Gates has built a personal brand in a space that many of us don't understand but need to, because the way people create, how stories spread, and how digital platforms are reshaping the way influence and brand are built. Of note, she currently resides in Europe. She speaks 4 languages, plays the piano, can tell you the exact cologne or perfume you're wearing when you walk into the room. And best of all, she's my niece. So, whether or not you've ever opened TikTok, I think you'll learn a lot from this conversation. So, Emily, welcome to Sharpen. It's great to have you on.
Thank you. You want to put that I'm just going to take that little intro and use that for my resume if you don't mind.
And you
I'm kidding.
should.
Thank you. That was so
And
nice.
you
Thank you.
should. Okay, so if you're running a company at this point and you're in your middle ages, TikTok is one of those things we hear a lot about on the news, but we don't really understand how it goes. Maybe someone in our life shows us reels and whatnot, and so uh, two things here. One is the platform that I'm curious about, and then two is the creative process, because the part of the brain that you use most of the time is the little opposite part of the brain that I use most of the time. Um, but let's kind of go into the Wayback Machine. From teacher to hundreds of thousands of followers, how did you start? How did you start?
Yes. Okay, I love that question. If we want to go way way back, I was like 10 and we it was at the time iMovie was just becoming a thing, and so the teachers were like, "Okay, you can make a video project, a book report or whatever." And so obviously I would choose the video format over the essay format, still accurate to this day.
That's right.
But I would make unnecessarily, but I would throw in I would make parodies of commercials that I would see. So I'd started making like parodies and videos when I was younger, like 10. And then actually this is lore. This is crazy. But before there was TikTok, well, TikTok before it was TikTok was called Musically. Um, and that's why people do dances on TikTok, because it was this app called Musically, musical in
That's
the
right.
name.
Yeah.
There's an app called Vine. So it's no longer existent. Rest in peace to Vine. But I was, what was it, 14. So this was in 2014, or I was in middle school. There was just 6-second videos, and I would watch comedy videos on there. And I think people also did a similar format to what they do on TikTok now, with like audio trends and memes, that sort of thing. But I was like, I'm going to make my own funny videos or comedy videos. And so that's where I really started. They didn't do I just had friends watching them, I think like 20 likes, but I would make videos there like 10 years ago. Um, and I think one of my videos there, it was the Max and Ruby theme song. I don't know
Well, I
if your
remember
kids
Max
watch.
and Ruby.
Oh,
I
okay, it's a
watched many.
classic. Still one of my
Yes.
favorites. I always wanted to eat the cakes on that show. Anyway, but I made like a dance, or I was like lip syncing to the Max and Ruby theme song, because like making fun of like dancing to pop. I don't know. But that was one of the videos I made on there. And yeah, so I started making videos a long time ago, I would say. That's how I kind of got started.
Yeah. So how do you transition from fun, from school projects to fun to like I I graduate college and now I'm doing this probably still for fun. What's that transition?
That's a great. Oh, I love that question. Um, I feel like I've made a joke. It's kind of true, and I would say, oh, my number one value, or like moral, is fun. Like I always just want to be having fun. Like I oh so yes. So this past year, I taught English in Spain. I majored in Spanish and communications. I love learning languages. Like I said, I love French, Portuguese, but I finished college and I always loved talking to people from other cultures. And I studied abroad last year in Spain before I graduated. But I was like, oh, I'm not going to have another chance to do this. And there's a program where you teach English in Spain. But so, yeah, so that feels fun. That is fun. But I guess I try to have fun in everything I do. The videos have luckily I've always been doing them for fun. But I think only in the past recent years, excuse me, has it gotten, it's still fun, but it's also, you get paid and people do it
Yeah,
for
so
business.
let's push into that. When did you realize this might actually be something more than just fun?
So it was 2021 and I had been making TikToks for, at that time, like 4 years, silly videos. I remember one of my first TikToks, I put my phone in the fridge because I was like, what does it look like inside a fridge? And I just played jazz music. I think it has 5 likes on there, but it's a deep cut. I'm kidding. But so in 2021, I made a video. I was a freshman in college, and I made a video about making fun of college tours because at the time I would sit outside of my dorm, um, and I would hear these college tours pass by because there's a ton. Have you ever been at college campus? I feel like they're just one among 1,000. They're always there. But they were saying these facts, like the most niche, like weird facts. They were like, so this is our engineering library. It has the most bathrooms of any engineering library in the world. It's like when people make an award and they say it's number one. It's like, well, you could be
Yes,
number one of anything. I mean,
yes,
Mizzou is great. They're number one in a lot of things.
that's
But
right.
I was like, okay, this is funny. And so I made a video kind of making fun of college tours. I was like, we're the college with the world's first pancake club, or we have a Quidditch team. And I think it was the same day, or maybe within a couple days, it got like 100,000 views overnight. And then that summer, it's like a couple months after, I had a couple more videos. Or I think, yeah, like a month later, I had a video get 1 million views. And so I had like a span of, or had like a series of videos go viral. And then that summer, it's like within the first year that I had these the videos, successful videos, I was like getting recognized like a lot. And then I think I probably the first few months after I had a viral video, I think I had like, don't quote me on, I could probably find this somewhere, but I think less than 20,000 followers, but like in between like 15,000, 20,000 followers within like a few months. So I was like, oh, well, so that was kind of the first part of the like success, or like, okay. But then more recently, um, there's this one creator, Noah Mills. He's funny. He's great. Um, he has 2 accounts, but one of them has 2 million followers. Noah Mills. If you search him up, it'll come up on his 2 accounts. But he made a video about me being like, oh my gosh, this was in, I want to say March, April. Yeah, March. He's like, oh my gosh, if you guys don't follow this girl, she's so underrated, or like she never misses. Like she had basically saying that he liked my like take on things. And then that video got 3 million views or 2 million views. So that grew my followers. Before the video, I had 100,000 followers. And then after the video, I gained 150,000 followers. And now I have 330,000 followers. So that was cool.
So
And
how long had you been creating and posting content before that lightning struck?
Of when that video
So
was posted.
from deep cut posting to that particular post, how long have
Mm.
you been on the platform?
I started on TikTok in 2018. But the first successful video I had was 2021. And then that video was in March. So that was 2025. So like bad at math,
Uh,
7.
it's a lot of hard work and
Yeah.
consistency and focus to then be in the right place at the right time to get noticed by something that launches you. I
Thank
That's
you.
just it's a fascinating piece of how work happens, how creativity happens. Um,
It's it's interesting because if I could, I there was a time, I don't know if I have them all still out there, but the consistency is just I just have so much fun making them. I mean, I have like a Snapchat story with my friends, and before I was doing TikTok really, or at the same when I wasn't posting as much, I was like making skits like and sending them to my friends, like
yeah.
pretending to be like it. So the consistency is just believe I if anything I should it would be like okay there was a time I was posting like 6 times a day and it's like okay so
All
that's
right.
the
So
I'm lucky
let's
but
let's get to the content creation part then. Walk us through your creative process. How do you come up with ideas? How do you decide what to record and what's going to resonate? So we know you have this value of fun. I bet you there's a process in there somewhere. What's yours?
yes, thank you. I love great question. So I am a big fan of the Notes app. It's kind of scary, my Notes app. I think I have probably it's a mess. Anytime I have an appointment, I don't have a calendar. I just write things, which I'm sure gets me. No, but I basically write down everything. I have a few different folders. Like I have so I love learning languages. So I have one for French, Spanish, um, just anything I learn. I love learning, like crazy for learning things. But I also try to observe like the world around me, especially since doing TikTok. But I think in the beginning, before I started doing TikTok, I was like, oh, there's this funny thing that some people do that do you guys know what I'm talking about? And so I think that's kind of why I started, but it's the same like principle. I basically just write down funny things that I think, I've seen or oh, I feel like okay, or if I'm trying to have people understand my perspective. So one of my biggest is actually the one with the most views on my page. I kind of have a series now. It's called what for example, what Spanish sounds like to non-Spanish speakers. So because I've been on the both ends of like not understanding Spanish, but now I'm fluent so I can understand. But
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a video about how Spanish sounds to people who don't speak Spanish, like the rhythm, the musicality, the tone, whatever, the speed,
Yeah.
fast. And so yeah, I write it down, and then that's something that it has to be something I'm interested in too. Um, so in that case, I made excuse me, I made a video speaking gibberish about how like I was speaking like blah 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 blah, 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 like or I also made one for English, how English sounds to non-English
Yeah.
speakers. And that the Spanish one got 11 million views and within like a week, I mean, it's grown, but it had 7 million views in the first week. It's actually crazy. One of the influencers in Spain, so like the audience for that video was in Spain, like 30% or something. And there's this one Spanish influencer who has Maria Pombo is her name, Pombo, but she reposted my video. She has like a Netflix series, but yeah, I feel like I'm off track. I don't know. I write things down and then I just improv. So I'll have like a general idea. So that was the language, but I was on an airplane and they were all like shutting, the airline attendants were all like shutting, like stuffing the bags in and like slamming the things, or they're doing the like emergency presentation. I don't know how you call it. And every time I just am like, it's so funny. I don't know why it's not funny, but it is. Just everyday things I observe and I think are funny or not funny or frustrating.
So how many takes are you doing? So improv, that's actually news to me. I thought this was
Really?
somewhat written. So if you have the chaos of the Notes
No.
app and you have the idea, and then you sit down, you press record, that you might have at least had a framework. It's straight improv, huh?
Yeah, no, I just have in my notes app here. I can show you what well, I guess there's probably not many. Like, okay, in my notes, I have
It's
this
hard to
tab.
show it on
Yeah,
audio.
it
So
also, but
like,
it says these are, so I have SEC schools. So I just have the title, or Day in the Life of an Ant, Candles That Should Exist. Um, when I hear 10 minutes, that sounds like an hour to me. I don't know. I have just
yeah.
the title and then I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes I don't have the video idea and I just hit record and I just kind of goof around.
So how many takes are you taking before you think you have a final cut, or you have enough that you can piece something together that is going to be postable?
I'm a big believer in, I don't know if it's the format of TikTok, but I love just starting over. Like if I have 10 seconds of a video and I'm like, I don't know why, I just kind of need like a clean slate. So I'll just delete that all. But I would say really depends on the video. There's some videos where I did one take. I know I do pause, so that helps. So that kind of makes it so I'm not like doing one whole. I think that would be really hard.
Yeah.
Um, but even with doing like 5-10 second clips, because the video, that's we'll get to that later, but the video has to be, or I like it to be above 60 seconds because then you could get paid.
Yeah, yep. So
Um,
business model. So
yeah,
I want to hit your brand before we kind of
yeah,
go to
yeah,
the
yeah.
business side. So
Spoiler alert.
you have if people can't tell already, you have a very unique style and brand. Um, how did you develop it? And then how has it evolved from where you started?
That is a wonderful question. I consider now well, I think in the beginning I started by doing relatable things, hu- making fun of the human experience,
Yes.
making parodies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I crazy? Have you been on an airplane? I don't know. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Um, but I started with the like relatable videos, but I think in the past year or two, I was like, I wanted to kind of change my like style, my not my style, like my genres of videos. So I
Yeah.
consider myself, okay, I have like three different like folders or like chunks in my mind of my types of videos. I have the like relatable ones, or observational humor, like okay, the DMV, the sorority girl or fraternity boy or whatever character you might meet in your life. Um, And then I also have, I like languages. So I've done a couple language videos. Um, I do, but more recently, I've been like, okay, I always try to add a new kind of genre. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do kind of like I think I've seen people in the comments be like, oh, she's in her like surreal air, or this is like when I make like crazy videos where I'm like, okay, day in the life of an ant. And they're so fun. I'm just okay, day in the life of a horse. I don't know. Or just silly things that aren't. So I don't know. I guess I consider myself like I have a few different like products or, for not products, but you understand. Um, a couple different genres, relatable. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I
How
think you do. In the business world, we call those verticals, or that you have different products or services. So you have different topics that help you kind of hone your message that you're doing, which I find great. Okay, so some of my favorite parts of your videos are the comments. The people
they're
that
fun. They're
comment
fun.
are so good, and they bring me as much joy as the original video.
Yes,
And so you added a prop, and some of my favorite comments are about said prop. So I've been wanting to ask this, and but I wanted to wait because I wanted to get your honest and just off the cuff opinion. What's with the whiteboard? Why?
Oh,
And
I love this.
you don't even speak, like you just scribble on it, even though you're building a list. It's ridiculous and it's amazing. What is
Oh,
that?
thank you. Well, thank you. So I had a few videos before the whiteboard. Like I did point of view, you're checking into the doctor or the nurse comes in before the doctor. And I just started grabbing like different props and I was like, okay, the doctor will be right here. I'm gonna need you to take this. And I just hand the camera like a basket or like, and I like give paper towels and I'm like, okay. And I think props are funny because they're kind of, especially random props. So sometimes I'll have like a costume, whatever. And in this video before the whiteboard, it was a notepad. I think it was in like
That's right.
February.
It was. It's
Yeah.
evolved.
The original whiteboard. The classic. So I was making a video on what it feels like checking into a hotel. It just felt right. Whenever the hotel they give you, okay, so they circle something. Here's your room number. Here's the emergency number when you need it. Here's the ice machine. And they give you like a 30-minute speech about the breakfast, whatever. And so I had the notebook
Yes.
and I was like, okay, the shuttle arrives at this time. You need your keys and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it's so fun. And I was like, that would be kind of funny, maybe even something visual from after that video. I've realized if I could do something visual with this notebook. And so then the next video, like 10 minutes later, I was like, I'm going to make a video about how math word problems sound. And so I have a video called What Math Word Problems Sound to Me. I think it's in February or March. But that was like my first, that and the hotel one were my first really successful like writing ones or whiteboard.
Yes.
And if you guys are listening, if you haven't seen, you should go check out the video, What Math Word Problems Sound Like to Me.
Link to it in
Because
the notes. We'll do it for you. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm literally tears are running down my face. I'm a cry laugher. That's my
Yes.
genre of laugh. And it's also important for me to have fun in my videos, but I had so much fun. And so after that, I was like, I'm going to do it again. Then I tried some other stuff with it. They did well. I did lists, I did explaining things, and that's how it started.
It's so good. I love your iterations and how you test things. And so
Thank
not everything's going to work, right? So that's something that worked and evolved, and you were having fun with it, and it made you laugh, cry, laugh. I don't know what the right
you.
word is.
Me neither.
So what hasn't worked? Like as a creator, stuff doesn't work, right? Things flop.
Yeah.
And so What's flopped, and how do you think about that stuff?
So I think it's important to try new like genres for my channels. I would get bored, or I wouldn't, you know, consider it successful if I was just having like one kind of video do like steady. Um so I try new things. Sometimes they don't do well. I'm trying to That's a great. Sometimes the more videos where there's not as much dialogue. I've tried kind of different camera angles. Um, I think I've had ones that where I'm just somewhere talking, so talking as myself, I guess. Like, what's the deal with airlines? No, I'm kidding. Um, like I'm like, okay, here are some movies that I don't like, and blah blah blah. And I think those haven't done as well, which I'm like, darn, because I had so much fun. So those I haven't had to do as well. We're more of like a conversational tone, I guess. Maybe it means people like if I'm acting. I don't know. Um, what I will do. This is actually interesting. TikTok doesn't like if you delete videos. If you're on the creator fund, if you're above 10,000 followers, is what it is, the creator whatever
Yeah.
fund. So I just will, if I see a video is not doing well and like maybe it's because I'm impatient, like a day or two, I'm like, well, I feel like the first 10 minutes or hour is where I'm gonna see like a growth. And if I don't see that, then I will private it. So you're really not supposed to delete. It's in the TikTok guidelines for the videos of like how they, if you're a creator, they say do not delete videos. I guess it flags it for being
Yep.
that. So I private them. But that's kind of interesting is that on TikTok I can't delete videos. So my phone, it takes up a lot of storage because I can't delete anything. But yeah.
Okay,
So
so you've teased us a little bit of how the model works. Let's go there. How do you make money? Like like
yes.
explain this to the normal human who enjoys it but has no idea how you actually
Yeah. So it's great.
make the monies.
It's kind of confusing, might I say. It took me, could have been because my phone was in Spanish at the time. That did make it a little. But once you have 10,000 followers on TikTok, you are able to sign up for what is called the Creator Fund. What this means is you are able to access certain deals. So like they'll be like, if you post with this song that's a on the promotion thing this week, you can earn an extra $50, or so you have access to those kind of, which I don't do as much. So you have access to like special kind of challenges that are going on. They'll have little creator challenges. Oh, post a video with this product this week, or um, and I know there's also TikTok Shop. You're able to sell. That might be for, but you're basically put in contact with the TikTok has a storefront. So you're put in contact with the sellers on that. So there's kind of three parts to it.
Yeah.
And then the part that I like because it's the, in my opinion, the easiest is if you are in this creator program, if your video is longer than 60 seconds, just any TikTok video you post, it has to be longer than 60 seconds, you can make money based on views. But it's interesting because so you have like a rate for each video and kind of a general rate for what they pay you. But it kind of goes up and down depending on the video. I've had videos that have gotten like 2 million views and within the first day, and they didn't get as much money as a video that got 2 million views over the course of. So it's kind of
So the
random.
algorithm, yeah. So you're playing by a set of rules and a framework, but there's also some things you don't control and some things you do control in order to get dollars at the end. So what surprised you most, like in this business side? So you know, you understand the rules now. Um, Sometimes you're not sure how exactly the math is working. What surprised you?
Hmm. I think it was surprising of people can have the same amount of followers and have the same amount of views on a video, but they could be making no money or a lot of money. That the pay is so different for each person, even if they're making the same numbers or whatever. Um, Also, how like professional it is. I mean, but like having companies reach out to me and like all my other friends have like corporate jobs. I don't yet. Maybe I will someday. I don't, or an off job where I'm answering emails is what I'm referring to. But it's just like a business, you know. There's also businesses, real not businesses that are selling products that are on there. Um, so yeah, I guess how businessy it really can all be. That
Okay, so
surprised me.
businesses have, we like to call them scorecards or KPIs, whatever trendy word you want to use. Do you have a scorecard for how you measure success and how
Yeah.
you track all the things?
So I try to experiment. I never want to be making the same videos. I don't want to be like a one hit wonder. You know. So I think I measure success. Let's say let's take like a time frame in like a month. If I have a new kind of video or a new idea that is successful, I think that
Mm,
that's how I measure success. If I can keep evolving, basically. And so, and January I started Instagram because at the time we weren't sure the future of TikTok. Um, so I guess that I keep trying new things, even if they do well, that's really how I measure success. But that I keep trying new things and going
rapid
somewhere.
iteration. Rapid iteration is what I heard. All right, so you've mentioned you're a strategist, you're the creative director, you're the editor, the producer, you're the brand, you're all the things. How do you manage? And I haven't seen your staff yet,
Because they
because
don't
I
exist.
I think it's an army of you. So entrepreneur, everythingpreneur. How do you do everything, and how do you handle that?
um, some, well, I think in a sense we all kind of are just on a different scale. I think people are all on social media, so we're all kind of, branding ourselves, or we want to show, oh, this is my family, or this is whatever you're showing to the world. Um, Sometimes it feels kind of crazy doing the TikTok and the Instagram. I feel like unprofessional. Not that, but like it feels like sometimes I'm just a chicken running around. Its head cut off. Like, this is crazy. I know some influencers, comedy influencers, who have around the same following as me, who have like managers or talent managers. I don't know. I don't know if they manage like brand deals. But I try to make sure that I'm not missing any important messages or now emails. Um, so I try to make sure that I'm seeing everything that's important. I try to do ideas that I think I like. I would do. I do what I want. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know.
yeah.
I try to keep up with everything, check it as often as I
Yeah,
can.
so the whirlwind is real, right? And so the chicken with the head cut off is a fairly typical experience for most of us.
Yeah.
And do you foresee a time or a scale that you're at that you would add someone beyond you to this thing you're doing?
Well, I think I've always had I've always like to bounce. I forgot to say this, but I also measure success because also TikTok will, I heard this. I don't know how I think it's true. If the first people that TikTok gives your videos out sometimes are your followers or your like contacts. So basically saying if your friends or family don't like the video because they're the first people who will watch it sometimes, if they don't watch the whole thing or whatever, then TikTok won't keep putting it out. So my point is that I like to show those I love around me or my family or my friends my videos, and if they comment, that is also how I measure. Like, so my point is that I've always like to like bounce off those around me and like say, "What do you think?" So they've always been helpful. My roommate Lydia has joked, and she's like, "You should start paying me for this." And I'm like, "Well, you have." So you know, she's like, "I've but in the past few months, I've had my Jack actually was in a TikTok video, I've had people film them, and I've changed like the camera angle. I think where I would need someone else is kind of how like a content manager. I don't really need one right now. I think it'd be helpful. I think if I were to do a bunch of brand deals on Instagram, or I think if it came naturally, I would. If I had because I'm also not sure, where these talent managers reside. I don't know, or who. But so for now, no. But
Yeah, but
uh,
someday.
yeah. If
Okay,
I
so let's take a bit of a left turn for this last question. Our families, we were on vacation together, and there were more than a few occasions where we were all hanging out and people recognized you as we were just walking or hanging or sitting or whatever we were doing, um, which is the beginning of fame or so how has that been to go from, person walking down the street to person walking down the street where people actually pull you over and say, "Hey, I know you." How are you handling this part?
I think it's been happening for a while since 2021, but now it's on. I would say I get recognized like at least a couple times a week
Yeah.
in the public, and it's really funny. I love whenever people say this. They say, "You look just like that one girl on TikTok." I say, "I am that girl." I'm kidding. I'm like, "Oh, well, I think you might be referring to me actually." And they're like, "I think I might." So that's
Yeah.
really funny. I would say 90% of the time it's fun because it's people my age. And I feel like TikTok does a good job of, I mean, I have all different people watching my videos, but a lot of times it's people my age who I feel like I would probably be friends with. And some
Yeah.
of them I have actually made friends with.
Yes.
So it kind of feels like it's like a mutual friend who because it's fun. It makes me laugh. It feels like I'm kind of meeting someone that I already know because at the end of the day, on the comments, we're all just me. We're all just normal people. I
That's
try to
right.
stay humble. I'm kidding, but yeah, it feels funny. I don't know. It's crazy. It's hilarious.
It's well, it was funny to watch from, the outside in. And I think we were at a concert, so it was like a perfect venue for
It's
like
really funny for my.
natural
Mhm.
natural interaction and yet like, joyous conversation. And so it was
It's
super
funny.
fun.
I think it's funniest for because I've had it. I'm like kind of not like used to it, but I've had it happen enough times where like, but for whenever people like see it for the first time, it's really funny if I'm like with a friend and they're like, "Whoa, I'm in the, I'm
Like, what are
sorry."
we
I'm like,
doing?
yeah. So it's funny for them, but Yeah.
All right, I lied. One more question, and then
I love
what-
keep going.
what's so our target market that we talk to, business owners and whatnot, the younger contingent, Gen Z, which is what you are. Uh, what what should us the older generations know about you? Because this is like incredibly hardworking. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and I think sometimes you guys get a bad rap. But also, I just think sometimes we just don't understand. So, what would you tell the older contingent about the younger workforce that's coming in and wanting to put their stamp on things?
Um, I would say that I think that we're the same. We're just people. I think that it's just the way that how we work now. I think the jobs are different. And so I think that people are people. Like there's funny people, there's I don't know, for every generation. And so I think that there's a lot of hardworking people, probably the same. I think it might just like look different. I think nowadays we put a lot of value in having a job that you're super passionate about. So I could see where like how we look at work has changed, but I know that people have the drive and desire to have a job that they like. And so I really think we're all the same. It's kind of just they're just looking at it differently. So that we're just as hardworking, I guess. Because also I know that there's if anyone from what Gen millennial or Gen X like actually gets to know a person from Gen Z, they usually I feel like once you usually meet a person and get to know them, it's you change your mind. So it's just the outside. But so I would say we're hardworking, but it might look different. I don't know.
It's good. Okay, so what I love about this conversation, it's not the typical like how I grew a company, exit story, whatnot. And yet, one of the things we do in Acumen is you put people around the table that are totally different, and you can learn things. So here's what I hope people heard today, because I took some lessons, and some of them. It's funny, you take two different total industries, content creation versus, an HVAC company or even a software company, um, is you had a value that leads everything you have. So your value is fun. If your company doesn't have values and you're not leading with them, then you don't know what things to try. So that was cool. You have values. Consistency is key. 4 years. I mean, just keep swimming, folks.
Yeah.
4 years, and then deep into it, lightning struck. And so you put yourself in the place to get lucky, right? So you had this consistency to quote unquote get lucky where someone else noticed you and that even propelled you further. So I think that is something as entrepreneurs and stuff, we just get tired. But you just got to keep going out there. Your evolution and revolution. But trying new things all the time. And then how you are asking your target market what they think first before you go out to the wider thing. So your friends and family thing. As business owners, a lot of times we just have new ideas we want to throw out, but perhaps we should ask our current clients
Yeah.
what's going on before we go out. And then, I mean, just overall, I think you are a visionary profile. So you have a giant notes app, and maybe someday it's worthwhile to have someone to help corral the visionary. We all have that problem. I think one day you will run into that problem. It's like, ooh, if someone just gave you a little focus and said no occasionally, there would be other things. So I don't think that's today. I don't want to put a corral on you, but for those listening, I think that's something that we struggle with all the time. Uh, so that's what
Yeah.
I
I like
I
that.
took from this.
I love
Yeah.
your note. Yeah, I think it's the thing about talking to people that you like it's funny sometimes they'll be like, I don't really see this, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. But it's that's such a fun yeah, that's such like a universal it is yeah, sometimes they humble you sometimes, but I love all your notes. Those are great connections. I like those a lot. Those are fun.
All right, so we'll put a couple of links to videos of that we've talked about it here, so people can easily find you. But where can our listeners find out more about you?
Okay. Wonderful question. So my TikTok is Gates underscore Emily. Also, if you look up Emily with 2 Y's Gates, it comes up. I have like 2 usernames. One's like I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Gates underscore Emily is the official like at. And then on Instagram, my name is Emily with 3 Y's Gates, GATESEMILY with 3 Y's. And then and then this summer, hoping to start YouTube. That's in the works. So I would just be Emily Space Gates. So that's where you can find me on my fave
Right.
platforms.
Well, folks, you gotta go check her out. It is super fun, and I've really enjoyed peeling the onion on things that we
Yes.
don't normally talk about. So I appreciate you being here, Emily.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
if you're interested in becoming a member of Acumen, go to acumenimpact.com and click on the apply button. Or if you'd like to learn more, we have a ton of great content under the resources tab. Emily Gates, we look forward to all the new funny things that you are going to evolve and make
Well,
and create.
thank you. Thank you, Dan, so much for having me. You were wonderful, and I would love to chat again. We'll see you. I'll see you later. It's
You
awesome.
betcha.
All right. Thank you.